Your life is not chaotic because you lack time. It is chaotic because you lack order. This is the truth most people never confront. They blame circumstances, they blame workload, they blame distractions, responsibilities, or bad luck. But chaos is never caused by time. Time is neutral. Chaos is created by an undisciplined mind. The difference between a life that flows and a life that falls apart is not intelligence or talent. It is organization, but not the shallow kind that fills calendars, labels drawers, or color codes tasks. The kind that changes destiny is deeper. It organizes the mind. Every wasted hour, every broken promise to yourself, every dream postponed traces back to one silent failure. You never mastered the law of order. An undisciplined mind creates confusion. An organized mind builds empires. This is not metaphor, it is law. Look closely at your days. You are not weak. You are not incapable. You are simply operating without structure. Your thoughts pull in different directions. Your desires compete with each other. Your time is commanded by reaction instead of intention. And reaction always loses. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow, but tomorrow is not a place. It is a decision delayed. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. Until you command your thoughts, you cannot command your hours. Until you master your time, distraction will rule you. There is a rhythm behind every great achievement. Success is never random. It is a symphony of order. Each task, each habit, each decision arranged in harmony with purpose. When that harmony exists, effort multiplies. When it does not, even hard work collapses. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because your days are lawless. Imagine waking up knowing exactly what must be done and why. No hesitation, no confusion, no inner argument, just clarity. That calm is not a gift. It is earned through order, and order is not personality, it is a practice. The man who organizes his life does not live faster. He lives with power. His hours obey him. His mind serves him. His results multiply because his actions are definite. Definiteness is the first mark of mastery. Chaos is not your enemy. Chaos is the test. It reveals whether you rule your mind or your mind rules you. The moment you bring order to your thinking, everything else begins to align. Your work, your money, your relationships, your peace. The world rewards clarity. But clarity is not found. It is built, piece by piece, law by law. Over the next parts, you will learn the 7 principles that turn drift into direction. These are not theories. They have organized fortunes, governed nations, and shaped the lives of men who refuse to wander. This is not about cleaning your desk. This is about reclaiming dominion over your destiny. Once order enters the mind, life stops happening to you. It begins happening through you. Your life feels chaotic for one reason most people never identify. It is not because you lack time. It is not because the world is unfair. It is not because you were born without opportunity. Your life feels chaotic because your mind has no order. Chaos is not something that happens to you. Chaos is something that grows when discipline is absent. It grows quietly. It disguises itself as busyness, stress, exhaustion, and confusion, and if left unchecked, it consumes potential without resistance. Most people wake up already defeated, not by difficulty, but by disorder. Their thoughts pull them in 10 directions. Their goals compete with distractions. Their energy leaks into places that give nothing back. They call this normal life. It is not normal. It is unmanaged existence. An undisciplined mind creates noise. Noise creates hesitation. Hesitation creates delay. Delay creates regret. And regret slowly erodes self-respect. This is how ambition dies, not in failure, but in disorganization. You are not lazy. You are not incapable. You are not broken. You are ungoverned. Look closely at your days. You react more than you decide. You respond more than you command. Notifications dictate your focus. Emotions dictate your pace. Other people's priorities quietly replace your own. Reaction feels harmless, but reaction is surrender. The man who lives in reaction never builds momentum. He is always catching up, always behind, always tired. His effort feels heavy because it is scattered. Nothing compounds because nothing is consistent. Order changes this immediately. Order is not about rigidity, it is about clarity. When your mind is ordered, decisions become lighter. When your priorities are clear, distractions lose power. When your time has structure, effort begins to multiply. The most dangerous lie society teaches is that discipline limits freedom. In truth, the opposite is absolute. Discipline is what creates freedom. Without it, you are a servant to impulse, mood, and circumstance. The man with order is not rushed. He is precise. He does not move faster than others. He wastes less energy. He knows what matters, so everything else fades into background noise. His mind is not loud, it is directed, and direction is power. Every great achievement you admire, every empire, every breakthrough, every dominant figure was built on ruthless internal order. Not perfection, order, a hierarchy of priorities, a refusal to drift. Drifting is the silent killer of potential. People do not ruin their lives dramatically, they lose them slowly, one disorganized day at a time, one postponed decision at a time, one excuse repeated until it becomes identity. But the moment order enters the mind, chaos retreats. Clarity replaces confusion. Momentum replaces effort. Confidence replaces anxiety. This is not motivation. This is structure. Structure gives the mind something to obey, and when the mind obeys, the world begins to respond. Time stretches, opportunities appear, progress accelerates, not because life becomes easier, but because resistance disappears. Order is the foundation of self-mastery. Without it, discipline collapses. Without it, goals remain fantasies. Without it, talent is wasted. But once order is established, even ordinary effort produces extraordinary results. This is the starting point, not action, not hustle, not ambition. Order. Until your inner world is organized, nothing outside of you will stay stable. But once it is, life stops feeling overwhelming. It starts feeling intentional. This is where control returns. This is where power begins. And this is only the first law. There is a clear dividing line between men who lead their lives and men who merely exist inside them. That line is not intelligence. It is not opportunity. It is not luck or background. It is control. Not control over others. Control over self. Most people believe they are in control because they make choices every day. But choice is not control. Choice without discipline is impulse wearing a disguise. True control is the ability to decide once and obey that decision consistently, regardless of mood, comfort, or circumstance. This is where most lives fracture. A man decides to change, he feels inspired, he sets intentions, but when resistance appears, control disappears, emotion takes over, comfort negotiates, discipline is postponed, and slowly authority slips away from the self and into habit. What you repeatedly fail to control will eventually control you. This is not punishment. It is law. Look closely at the areas of life that cause you stress. Money, time, health, focus, relationships. In every case, stress is the signal of lost control. Something external is dictating your internal state. Control restores order. The man who controls his actions controls his outcomes. The man who controls his reactions controls his environment. The man who controls his mind controls his destiny. But control is not force. It is governance. Force burns energy, governance conserves it. Governance means you establish rules for your behavior and you follow them even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. This is where self-respect is built. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, internal authority strengthens. Every time you break one, it weakens. Over time, the subconscious learns whether your words matter. Most people do not lack motivation, they lack credibility with themselves. Their mind no longer trusts their intentions because history has taught it otherwise. So when a new goal is set, the subconscious resists. It expects failure. Control repairs this relationship. Start small. Control does not begin with massive change. It begins with non-negotiables, 1 or 2 behaviors that are obeyed daily without discussion. These behaviors become anchors. They stabilize identity. Identity follows behavior, not the other way around. A man who controls his mornings controls his days. A man who controls his evenings controls his future. When sleep, movement, focus, and time are governed, chaos has nowhere to attach. This is why leaders appear calm under pressure. They are not emotionally superior. They are structurally superior. Their lives have systems. Systems absorb stress, so the mind does not have to. Drifters live without systems. Every challenge feels personal. Every obstacle feels heavy. They rely on willpower, and willpower eventually fails. Control replaces willpower with structure. Structure is invisible power. Once control is established internally, external respect follows naturally. People sense self-command. They trust those who are not easily shaken. Influence grows not from dominance, but from consistency. This is the quiet secret behind authority. A man who cannot control his attention will never control his results. A man who cannot control his impulses will always feel behind. A man who cannot control his reactions will live at the mercy of circumstance. But when control is restored, something profound happens. Time expands. Decisions simplify. Confidence stabilizes. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop explaining yourself internally. You move with quiet certainty. This certainty is not arrogance. It is alignment between intention and behavior. Control is not about being rigid. It is about being reliable to yourself. When you become reliable internally, progress compounds externally. This is why some men rise steadily while others repeat cycles endlessly. One governs his life, the other hopes it improves. Hope is not a strategy. Control is. This law does not demand perfection, it demands commitment. Each day you obey yourself, authority returns. Each day you drift, it fades. The choice is made daily, whether you acknowledge it or not. In the next part, you will learn how focus determines power and why most people are exhausted not from work, but from scattered attention. There is a reason most people feel constantly tired, mentally drained, and overwhelmed even when they are not producing meaningful results. It is not because they work too hard. It is because their attention is fragmented. Focus is power. Where attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows consistently, results are inevitable. Most people never experience real power because their focus is divided into pieces too small to matter. They start one thing, then interrupt it. They think one thought, then abandon it. They feel motivation, then dilute it with distraction. Their mind is everywhere, so their progress is nowhere. This is not accidental. Modern life is designed to steal focus. Noise has become constant, stimulation has become addictive, and attention has become the most exploited resource on the planet. But here is the truth most never learn. A distracted mind cannot build a powerful life. Focus is not concentration alone. It is commitment of attention over time. It is the decision to stay with one thing long enough for momentum to form. Without that commitment, effort resets to zero every day. This is why many people feel like beginners forever. Every interruption fractures momentum. Every switch of attention taxes the brain. The mind was not built for constant shifting. It was built for depth, and depth is where mastery lives. The man who learns to focus deeply gains an unfair advantage. While others scatter their energy across dozens of tasks, he concentrates it into one direction. His effort compounds, his learning accelerates, his confidence grows because progress is visible. Focus simplifies life. When focus is strong, priorities become obvious, distractions lose appeal, time is used intentionally instead of emotionally. You stop asking, "What should I do next?" because direction is clear. But focus does not come from motivation. It comes from elimination. You do not gain focus by adding more discipline. You gain it by removing distractions. Every unnecessary input weakens attention. Every constant check fractures thought. The disciplined man guards his attention aggressively. He understands that what he allows into his mind shapes his inner world. Garbage input creates noise. Noise creates confusion. Confusion destroys progress. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing less, better. One focused hour outweighs 10 distracted ones. One committed direction outperforms a dozen half-hearted attempts. The most powerful people in history were not the busiest. They were the most focused. This is why clarity feels rare. Clarity requires silence. When the mind is quiet, insight appears. When the mind is still, intuition sharpens. When attention is undivided, work becomes immersive instead of exhausting. Most people fear silence because silence reveals disorder. But that disorder is the very thing that must be confronted. Focus forces honesty. When distractions are removed, excuses surface, weak habits reveal themselves. This discomfort is not a sign to escape. It is a sign of progress. Growth always begins with awareness. To build focus, you must train it deliberately. Start by choosing one primary objective, not 10, one, then structure your day around it. Protect the time allocated to it as if it were non-negotiable, because it is. Focus thrives in structure. The mind relaxes when it knows what it is supposed to do. Anxiety decreases when attention has direction. Confidence increases when effort produces visible movement. This is why focused men appear calm. Their mind is not pulled apart by endless options. They move forward with intent. Distraction weakens identity. Focus strengthens it. A man who cannot focus long enough to develop skill will always feel replaceable. A man who masters focus becomes valuable. Value attracts opportunity. Opportunity rewards preparation. This is the hidden chain most never connect. You do not need more time. You need more depth. Depth turns effort into leverage. As focus improves, discipline becomes easier. Control strengthens, order stabilizes. These laws are not separate, they reinforce each other. Focus is the bridge between intention and execution. Without it, goals remain ideas. With it, ideas become reality. In the next part, you will learn why consistency outweighs intensity, and how small daily actions quietly dominate dramatic bursts of effort. Let's be honest. Your problem is not lack of talent. It is not lack of opportunity. It is not lack of intelligence. Your problem is that you quit too often. You start strong. You feel motivated. You imagine results. Then resistance appears and you disappear. This is where most lives collapse. Intensity feels powerful, but it is a lie. Intensity burns hot and dies fast. Consistency is quiet, boring, and ruthless, and it wins every single time. The world does not reward excitement. It rewards repetition. Every successful man you admire is not intense. He is consistent. He shows up when he is tired. He works when no one is watching. He continues when motivation is dead. This is the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs wait to feel ready. Professionals act because it is scheduled. Your emotions are not in charge. Your mood is irrelevant. Your feelings do not matter. Results do not respond to feelings. They respond to behavior repeated over time. Most people sabotage themselves because they want fast proof. They want reassurance. They want results before they earn them. When results don't appear quickly, they assume something is wrong and they quit. Nothing is wrong. You just haven't stayed long enough. Consistency is uncomfortable because it exposes your lack of patience. It forces you to confront boredom, and boredom is where weak discipline dies. This is why most people never escape average. They cannot tolerate repetition without reward. But repetition without reward is exactly what builds power. Every day you show up without applause, your discipline sharpens. Every day you act without validation, your identity hardens. You stop needing motivation because behavior becomes automatic. Automatic behavior is dominance. This is why small daily actions destroy massive bursts of effort. 1 hour every day beats 10 hours once a week. One controlled habit beats chaotic ambition. Your brain learns through repetition. Your confidence grows through evidence. Your future changes through accumulation. There is no shortcut around this. If you cannot stay consistent, you will always feel behind, no matter how talented you are. Consistency is not glamorous. It does not feel heroic. It feels heavy. And that is why it works. Most people are addicted to starting. Very few are willing to continue. Starting feels powerful. Continuing feels lonely. But the man who continues while others quit becomes untouchable. Consistency compounds silently. One day you look up and realize you are far ahead and no one knows when it happened. That is real power. If your life feels stuck, ask yourself one question. What have I been inconsistent with? The answer will not be comfortable, but it will be accurate. Stop restarting your life every week. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop negotiating with weakness. Choose one direction. Commit. Stay. Because consistency does not just build results. It builds authority over yourself. And when you have that, nothing outside of you can stop you. Let this hit you cleanly. If discipline is missing, your future is already compromised. Not tomorrow. Not later. Already. Discipline is not optional. It is not a personality trait. It is not something you develop one day. Discipline is the price of control, and if you refuse to pay it daily, you will pay something far worse later: regret. Most people hate discipline because it exposes the truth. It removes excuses. It leaves no one to blame. Discipline reveals exactly how serious you are about the life you claim to want. And most people fail that test. They want the results without the structure. They want confidence without restraint. They want success without sacrifice. That fantasy keeps them weak. Discipline is saying no when every part of you wants comfort. It is doing the boring thing when the exciting thing is easier. It is choosing long-term power over short-term relief. And yes, it is uncomfortable. But so is staying broke. So is being average. So is knowing you could have done more and didn't. Pick your pain. Here is the truth no one tells you. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is permanent. Motivation shows up when conditions are perfect. Discipline shows up when they are not. Motivation asks how you feel. Discipline asks what must be done, and then does it. This is why disciplined men dominate long-term. They do not rely on emotional energy. They rely on rules. Rules remove decision fatigue. Rules eliminate debate. When something is a rule, it gets done, no drama, no hesitation. Undisciplined people argue with themselves all day. Disciplined people act. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about respect. Respect for your time, respect for your potential, respect for the future version of yourself who will either thank you or curse you. Every undisciplined decision is a vote for a weaker future. Every disciplined action is a vote for authority. And these votes compound. People underestimate how quickly discipline changes identity. When you do hard things daily, your self-image shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. Execution builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum. Momentum attracts opportunity. This is the chain. Without discipline, nothing holds. Plans collapse, habits decay, focus scatters. You end up restarting your life over and over, wondering why nothing sticks. Discipline is what makes things stick. It turns intention into bahavake. Bahavake into habit. Habit into identity. This is why disciplined men walk differently, speak differently, decide differently. They are not guessing who they are, they know because they have proof. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your discipline. If your life feels unstable, the answer is not more information. It is more structure, more rules, more standards. Raise your standards or accept your ceiling. Discipline will never feel convenient. That is the point. If it were easy, everyone would have power. They don't, because most people choose comfort over command. But you already know this. You feel it every time you procrastinate. Every time you break a promise to yourself. Every time you choose easy and feel weaker afterward. That feeling is not guilt. It is awareness. Use it. Because discipline does not ask for perfection, it asks for obedience. One decision at a time, one rule at a time, one day at a time. And once discipline becomes your baseline, your life stops feeling fragile. It becomes controlled.